Okay, so hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Oscar Outdoors. Join me in this one for 5 hammock and tarp tips. Okay, so welcome back everyone. As in the little intro, this is a 5 hammock and tarp tips video. Now, it may surprise you, but I've not always been a hammock camper. In fact, I've only been hammock camping for, I'd say, the last sort of 2 to 3 years at most. And over that time, I've learned a lot of tips and tricks from fellow bushcrafters and, you know, other people such as Ian Binns, who I've mentioned, from West Yorkshire Bushcraft. I'll flash a picture up here for their Facebook group. He's taught me a lot of tips. Daniel, English Woodsman, he's taught me some bits and bobs, and obviously I've watched other YouTube videos and made my own mind up and obviously got there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down my 5 tips for hammock camping, and we'll get started now. Okay, so the first 5 tips that I've got for you today are all involve your tarp setup. So when you first receive your tarp, obviously you get your tarp and then you get all the guy ropes and things like that inside your pack normally. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how I set mine up and make my life easier whilst I'm out in the woods. Don't work for everybody, but it does work for like majority of people. So let's get to that now. I'm going to open this up. Okay, so tarp tip number 1. When you first get a tarp, as I said earlier, it comes and it's just the tarp and all the guy ropes and things are all separate. Now a lot of them have webbing tie-out points, and what I've done after some inspiration from others is gone and add a little tip to that. So that's pound shop bobbles on all my tie-out points. So you can see there, just onto the webbing and looped in. Just gives you a little bit of extra resistance in wind. Now bobbles come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, so I brought some with me just to sort of go through this bit with you. Now the ones that are on this tarp at the minute have like a little metal band in there to provide a little bit of strength. Okay, but they do come in all kinds of different shapes. Now these ones here are just a complete circle, and you can see they've got this little weak point just there. See that weak point? Okay, so what I want you to do first of all with that one is just simply break it. So you've just got that one bungee cord. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take that and you're just going to loop through your webbing and then tie a simple overhand knot. So I'll leave a link to my knots if you've not already seen them. So a simple overhand knot coming back through on itself and creating a loop. Okay, remember you will be tying this to the webbing point. Once you get it to that point there, you need to hold onto the loop and push the knot towards the end. That then gives you a bigger loop to create. So this is what you'll essentially will be here on the webbing. So yeah, that's tarp tip number 1, adding pound shop bobbles around the outsides. Okay, so tarp tip number 2 is installing a ridgeline onto your tarp. Now this is the Snugpack or Weather Shelter G1, and this is ideal for diamond formation. So it's got 3 points on the actual top of the tarp that create a ridge line for the diamond formation itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through the centre loop of this, which you can see on shot there. So yeah, just the centre loop. I'm just going to feed my ridge line through and then off to what would be the front end there. Okay, the reason I've just gone through the centre loop is so that you can now have your tarp in diamond formation, how I normally have it in my hammock, or you can switch it around and have it in A-frame just by twisting once you've got the ridgeline installed. Okay, so we're still on with tarp tip number 2. Now this is just the centre tab of my tarp, and then obviously I've just quickly strung this up, which I'm going to show you because this is still part of tip number 2, leaving the ridgeline permanently attached. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you it in diamond, and I'm going to rotate it into A-frame. Okay, so continuing on, now you can see my tarp is set up in diamond formation, and I'm using just a simple way. That's the next tip though, so to connect it to the actual ridge line. But as I said, that's the next tip. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate it round so that it's in A-frame. Okay, and here we are in like a low profile A-frame sort of lean-to shelter, just by rotating on the ridge line. Okay, so tip number 3 is again about your ridge line. So what you need to do in your ridge line is just tie a fixed loop knot in the end. Can you see that? Yeah, so just a fixed loop knot in the end, and that will permanently stay in your ridge line. Okay, and then all you do with that is you go around your tree. Okay, and then come back on yourself, just like this. What you're going to do then is you're going to take the ridge line itself and feed through the loop, creating a bite. So I'll bring you in a little bit closer. Alright, so with your fixed loop end, go around your tree. Okay, and then come to this point here, and then grab the ridge line that's trailing off towards your tarp that way, and then just pass through. So create a bite like so, like a loop, and pass through the loop just like so. Then take a toggle, could be a tent peg, could be a stick off the ground like this one is, or what, and just pass through. Now that's going to hold, and you just push that towards the tree, and that's the first knot in your ridgeline setup. Okay, so we're now at the opposite end of your tarp and ridgeline. So you just uncoil, go around your tree, and then just pull tight to create this almost like guitar string, like so. Okay, now I don't know the name of this knot, I saw this one on MCQ Bushcraft. Okay, so you pull tight. Okay, then you take your trailing end and just go over the top of your ridge line. Okay, and then come back under your ridge line, pull it tight again. So over the top and then back under, back around the tree in the opposite direction, and then back over the top and repeat. So over the top, back underneath, maintaining tightness all the time, and then one last time over the top, and then back underneath, and then back to this point here. Now I'll bring you in closer for this. Alright, so once you've gone around 3 times, you then get to this point here. All you want you to do then is create a bite. So just create a bite, not a loop, like so, just bringing 2 ends together. Okay, and then twist. Okay, come under, over the top of your ridge line, then take your trailing end and pull a bite back through that, and you've got something that looks similar to this. Okay, then you're just going to take a simple toggle and feed that through there. Okay, so you've gone over the top, then you've pulled a bite through, and then you've put a toggle through. And all you do is cinch that up, and that is it. That is your ridgeline set. Okay, we're now on to tip number 4. Okay, so tip number 4 is to create Prusik loops and double fisherman knots that permanently live on your ridgeline. Okay, and then attaching little clips. So you can see the little clips there. Okay, and then obviously this is just my little Prusik and double fisherman knot loop. Okay, now this becomes slidable up and down your ridge line. Okay, and then obviously just attach your tarp to it using the hook and one of the bobbles that we talked about earlier on. Okay, so I've only got a guy rope with me, so this will have to do. So take the 2 ends of your guy rope, like so, and just hold them together. And then imagine you're going to tie your Prusik out of this in a second, so that's going to be the Prusik loop. Okay, so ignore this little piece here. Okay, all you're going to do is you're going to take your ropes and cross over, like so, and you're going to come under. Okay, then you're going to go back over the top of both lengths of cordage, back underneath, and then through both parts of the cross. he says. Okay, and that has created one side of your double fisherman loop. Okay, and then you're going to repeat the process with this end. So again, from there you're going to go over the top, yeah, like so. And you're going to come underneath, and then you're going to go diagonally across. And then you're going to come underneath both. Let me up a bit of excess. And then you're going to go up and under both parts of the cross. That's it. And then you should have something that looks similar to that. And all you do is pull. Okay, so once you've created the loop using the double fisherman's knot, which is there, I'll also leave a link to the double fisherman knot that's easier to follow than the one I've just done now. Okay, you're going to then create a Prusik on your ridgeline. Okay, so come around the back. It's a bit difficult with all this excess. So come around the back, feed through. Once. Feed through again. Right, trying to make sure that you stay in the centre. Try not to let them cross. Like he's just done. Okay, twice. And then 3 times. Now it is really difficult with all this. So all I'm going to do now is just going to pull down. And you should see that neaten up. Put that over there. And that over there. Put that over there. Okay, so then you've just formed a Prusik. Okay, now the beauty of the Prusik is you apply pressure and it doesn't go anywhere in either direction. Oh, put tight. In either direction. Okay, but you can obviously see, as I am doing now, slacken the knot and you can move it up and down. Now let's show you the smaller version. So yeah, this is the smaller version. So again, you can see the Prusik on top here. This is made from 2mm climbing rope, and the Ridgeline is 4mm climbing rope. They're both purchased from Go Outdoors. But yeah, 4mm, 2mm, and you got your Prusik loop there, a little bit of dangle, and then your double fisherman's knot there. But remembering to loop your clip into the actual loop that you've created. And all you're going to do with that is I'm just going to shift that to that corner. You can see just there. I'm going to bring in my tarp and my pound shot bobble, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the clip and snap onto the bobble. Okay, and I'm going to tighten that up. I'm just going to tighten the other end and you'll see this tighten. Okay, so we're now on to tip number 5. Okay, so tip number 5 involves, once your tarp is all set up and you've obviously got pound shot bobbles all around everywhere, as you can see on this little point here. Now what this one is to help you cinching in adverse weather conditions, so to stop rain pelting on you basically. Okay, so what you do is you take your pound shot bobble and then you take a little S-beaner. Okay, and then you'll go through this one. Okay, and then pull into the middle. And then you bring the one from the other side and pull into the middle, and then just clip together. I'll bring you in a little bit closer. Okay, so as you can see here, this is bobble coming from the tie-out point on this side, bobble coming from the tie-out point on this side, and then in the middle, just a simple S-beaner, about 50p or so from AliExpress, but available all over on eBay and things like that. Okay, so thanks for joining me in this video. This has been my version of hammock and tarp tips for beginners, I suppose. Okay, so tip number 1 was adding pound shot bobbles to all your tie-out points to give yourself a little bit of wind resistance. Tip number 2 was just attaching your Ridgeline centrally. So obviously through the centre loop on the tarp, so you can rotate into A and diamond formation. Tip number 3 was the knots. So how simple it is to get a really strong ridge line that's not going to go anywhere. Tip number 4 was creating the Prusik and Fisherman loop, and tip number 5 was using an S-beaner to cinch in the ends. So if you've enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments what you think about it. If these tips have come from you, or if these tips are useful to you, let me know. Give the video a thumbs up. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.